The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning into the classroom for the first time, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as you know, many of you have made, and I don't do this anymore, I make commitments. Many of you have made New Year's resolutions. And I'm just wondering, we're now towards the end of January 2022. So if you see this at another time, it may or may not be applicable, but we're in that trend that we are going to be making these commitments and going full force until we fall back into our old ways. You know that we're all about in the classroom, the Lillian McDermott Radio Show classroom, which I've shortened it to the classroom because you know me already. And it says it back here. So, we're all about change, spirit, mind, and body. And I've gotten so many opportunities. I've given you so many opportunities to hang on to some of these little changes so that you can create the life that you want. So many times we think that we're powerless and that everybody has power over us except us. And I want to change that. I want us to rewrite the program, rewrite those stories in your head, because that is the furthest from the truth. Starting from biblical times when Jesus breathed into his disciples' nostrils and said, "You will do this and more. You will do great things and more. You won't even recognize the things you can do." Well, that same breath that Jesus breathed into his disciples is the same breath that is in us. And the same breath that we cried out when we came out of our mother's womb, that filled our lungs with that spirit, the advocate, that today we feel is in prison most of the time. People think, well, maybe it's good fortune for you, not for me. And as you know, the whole purpose of this class, of the Lillian McDermott Radio Show classroom, is about the purpose of our life is to give and receive love and knowledge. And I hope that today's love and knowledge will permeate through you and make a huge difference. As you know, we have back-to-back workshops, first on the 29th with the emotion code. Well, actually, starting back when we did the I Am the Solution, that was January 14th, 15th, and 16th. And it was absolutely phenomenal. The miracles that weekend just filled my heart. Then January 29th, the emotion code with Dr. Bradley Nelson. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but just so that you know, the purpose of that is, again, spirit, mind, and body, one size does not fit all. So spirit, mind, you tap into that. You will learn a tool to tap into that. And then with the roadmap to health with Dr. Thomas Levy, you can be in your home, in the comfort of your home, and learn about the body and how you can heal the body naturally as possible. So I'm really grateful to have this extra day to kind of say to you, are you aware this is happening? And are you aware that you are invited to join us? You know, I can always invite, but it's always up to you to decide if you want to join us. And so I want to go back to this last week. Once again, I'm confronted with end of life decisions with our parents. And when I say end of life, they're not dying. I think we're all dying, but they are at the end of their life versus my grandchildren being at the beginning of their life, or myself midlife. And so with all of that in mind, it brought so many lessons of how urgent life is. Where do you want that end of life? Where do you want to be at that end of life? Do you want to have lived a wonderful, phenomenal life? Or do you want to kind of scrape by from doctor to doctor, hospital to hospital, where health is just a thing that happens to the young, and not everybody has that opportunity to choose it for themselves? I'm not talking about a situation where you were born with a disease, a congenital disease, or something to that effect. But even that, if you're in optimal health, spirit, mind, and body, then it's better for you than somebody else who has that same problem or issue. So I started thinking about something that happened major to me in my heart. It just pierced my heart. And I keep saying it, but it's the class with Carol Howe. Now, I have known as a coach, as a person, that we see in others who we are. But that was the extent of it. Deal with it. You know, you see in me who you are, deal with it. But how do you deal with it? And what is the it we need to deal with? And so just recently, and I want to encourage you to watch that class, because I was probably just like rockets coming out of my brain, because she just glowed every sensory part of my brain by saying, when I talked to her, the class was going to be on guilt and shame, and going from shame and guilt to love and being able to release that. And she said something that completed the cycle of you see in me who you are. I was just excited to learn every day. We are to learn something new. And if you are not in that mode where you want to learn something new, then put a chalk line around you, baby, because you are dead, spirit, mind, and body. There's so much room to grow. So don't tell me that you know these things and do nothing about it. Because first it's the thought, then it's the feeling, then it's the action. So if you think you know it, then you need to feel like you need to correct it or fix it or improve upon it, depending on where you're at, and then take action. So those are those feelings will promote those actions. So she said, oh, Lillian, this was off the air that we had this conversation. She started, I'm like, stop, you need to save this for the classroom, because I want all our dialogues to be like fresh and new, and you get to hear it at the same time I do, and I get to respond at the same time you do. And so that's the whole purpose of it. So she started talking about shame and guilt, and how shame and guilt is the root of the discontentment in the world, the problems that we have as individuals. And so I thought, whoa, hold it. I want to learn about this, talk about that today. But she had already sparked my curiosity during the back talk, where nobody, the recorder's not on, and it's just the two of us girls chatting, which is always phenomenal. So what she said is, and what I learned completely in the cycle of, you see in me who you are, so deal with it. So now what? So this is the what. If a person presents themselves to you and they poke you in the eye, and not just in a good way, but in a way that you just want to blast them. You want to be right that they're wrong. You want to, you're like, just get away from me. I don't want to hear that. That's who you say you are. That you see in me who you are. Okay, now what? The what is this? Pay attention, take lots of notes. Because I've been going through my life, looking at my life in different places so that I can release any shame and guilt that I have. So she said, those people present themselves to you. And of course, you're going to see who you are in them, because everything, and this is a side note, everything you see in life goes through the filters of your perception. So if you've been traumatized as a child, neglected, abused, violated in any way, or you didn't get the candy you wanted because you were so entitled and that became a trauma for you. So it doesn't matter, but it's what we make up about that remains in our subconscious mind. And you've heard me talk about the brain and how the brain works and how we need to work with our brain. I don't want to go into a lot of that detail, and maybe I will if we have time. But if you have any questions about it, just ask me. Maybe I'll just do a complete class, a new class, just on how the brain works. Oh no, by the way, yesterday we had Jill Bolte Taylor to talk about the brain, and I believe that is who is in the classroom, so that when you get this, you'll know who is in the classroom. So here we go, the brain. So watch the class from yesterday with Jill Bolte Taylor. So you're filtering everything, and of course, your reality or your perception is your reality. So here we go. You see in me who you are. Okay, so that backs on you. So what is it about that person that you see that is something that is a reflection on you? So yesterday in a coaching call, we were talking about this, and I said, anytime you're storytelling about another person, you need to stop and say, that's my mirror. That's my mirror. So where is it about that person that I have shame and guilt in me because I've done this to somebody else? And I'm recognizing the speck in your eye, and I don't want to look at the plank in mine. So much easier to say, your problem, your issue. Nah. So that is what happens when you start doing this kind of spirit, mind, body work. And you just get enough information to just make it this far. And then somebody else comes along, because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Somebody else comes along and gives you a little bit more information because you're ready to hear it. And until that moment, I didn't realize that there was a missing link, or there was a conclusion to that. What you see in me is who you are. I mean, I teach this in the I Am the Solution workshop. But now this last one that we did on January 14th, 15th, and 16th, we stopped and we looked at the other people and who pokes us in the eye and our judgments towards them and all those things, to see the mirror reflecting back at us. Where have we done it, and where do I need to forgive? So powerful, so powerful. But you see, you must be willing and curious to look into who you are and what rubs you the wrong way. And why do you respond? Why does it bother you when it's their issue? Why do I go with it and have to talk about it with other people? Or why do I take it and fester on it? Because, by the way, 5 minutes of anger equates to 8 hours of a low immune system, a lowered, suppressed immune system. See, these are things that we don't know. And the moment you start learning about this, going, hey, I am going to protect my body here, and I'm not going to dwell on them. That's their stuff. I'm going to look at me, because I can only control me. You can't control me, and I can't control you. It is an illusion to think that you telling somebody what to say, what to do, how to act, how to think, and censor them, that somehow that's going to be educational for the person that you're trying to control. No. So then you have to sit back, or you get to sit back and say, why are their control issues affecting me? Could it be that I've behaved this way? Absolutely. Absolutely, I have. Where do I need to forgive that? Oh, I remember this and that, and I remember doing that to the other person. And oh, I am so ashamed. I feel guilty. And I didn't want to look at that guilt and that shame. I've done the best that I could with what I have and what I've been able to do. That person who I was then is not the person today. I forgive myself, and it's time to move on. That is more powerful than holding on to the resentment and holding on to the anger and needing to control the other person who's trying to control you and be right. It is so freeing. It really is freeing. Because here's the thing. When somebody rubs you the wrong way, and they have no clue that they rubbed you the wrong way, they all go on in their world and they're just happy as a clam while you're holding on to the resentment and bitterness. And by the way, I want to go back and say, guilt and shame have a purpose. Everything in life has a purpose, but guilt and shame, the main purpose of guilt and shame is to keep you from doing it again. Oh, I remember I felt really bad. I will never do that again. I don't want to hurt somebody. I don't want to feel that way. Whatever the don't is, the mind does not know the difference between do or don't. It just knows what it's focusing on. So we get to understand that those are things that we are just need to be aware of. How do we become aware of it? How do we become? You stop and say, they are my mirror. What are they trying to teach me that I am unwilling to look at in myself? And so comes the emotion code. The emotion code workshop. Some of you have asked me, well, what would Dr. Day think of this? Dr. Day knows how the mind works. Dr. Day knows how guilt and shame and holding on to resentment causes disease in the body. Now, the ability to tap into your body and become one with your body and be able to, or your mind and spirit, the mind and spirit, because eventually it will tap into the body. So when your mind and spirit is holding on and is in resentment mode or resistance mode or whatever, it is going to take that, harbor it, put it in the body, and it sits there in one of those healing centers that people call chakras. And those healing centers, and I have, I have a chart of where things go if the person has unresolved issues. Oh, sure. They may think they've resolved the issues. You may think you've resolved the issues, but you haven't the way it needs to. And when I say it needs to, is examination of conscience, which is very also biblical. Examining your conscience and allowing the communication of the same cell that made your brain, your spine, your gut, your heart to communicate in a loving and caring way. And by the way, some of these traumas that we experience in our life have been handed down because the generation before you did not deal with it, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 20 generations before you did not deal with it. And sometimes you're going, why do I feel sad? I have everything in my life. Why do I feel sad? Could it be that there is an emotion trapped in there from past generations? Now, wouldn't you love to tap into your subconscious mind, which, by the way, I guess I have to talk about the brain, the brain, so that you know, when the moment you're conceived to the moment you are about 7, I always say 10 for me because I was immature like that. Your human tape recorder is recording everything that you see and hear. And those recordings later become part of your subconscious mind. That subconscious mind, you have about 40 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, depending on how active your mind is, between 40 to 70,000 thoughts. 90% of those thoughts have been there since conception. They're repetitive. And 80% of those thoughts are negative. Keep in mind, those negative thoughts were there to protect you when you were a child. Don't touch this, don't do that, do. That's what it does. But those are still thoughts that, again, filters by which you view the world. It's amazing stuff when you get to learn about the brain. The brain doesn't know the difference between do and don't, doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction. It doesn't know the difference between it's happening now, it happened 20 years ago, or it's going to happen in the future. It doesn't know. It responds to whatever you're thinking. And last, your brain doesn't know who you're angry with. It will assume it's you. And there goes. Whatever it is that you're resenting, holding into, whatever it is that you haven't dealt with is now going to be stored in a healing center or a chakra or a place in your body. And then that's going to manifest and fester into dis-ease. Now, wouldn't you like to nip whatever that is, take care of it, let it go, release it? Well, that's what we're going to learn at the Emotion Code Workshop, live workshop with Dr. Bradley Nelson on January 29th. And who wants to come to Cocoa Beach, Florida in the wintertime? Everybody. Everybody wants to come to Florida. Unless you live in Florida, then you're already here. And Cocoa Beach, Florida is a beautiful place to come to. I live in Cape Canaveral, so I absolutely love this area. I love the East Coast of Florida. And I believe there's going to be some rocket launches as well. So take advantage of that. Anyway, so Dr. Bradley Nelson has the ability to teach about a tool that he learned many years ago. He's gone all over the world to teach this modality. And just on Tuesday, you heard Dr. Brian Artis talk about how Dr. Bradley Nelson changed his life, right? Because he learned to tap into his subconscious mind and allow the body to say yes to this or no to this. And you listen without judgment and release it. Wouldn't you like that? I do. I'm glad. So on the 29th of January, which is just right around the corner. So if you want to go, then you need to go to whenyouneedafriend.com, sign up. The pop-up will come up on whenyouneedafriend.com. And by the way, while you're there, please subscribe and like and follow all my social media. Tell all your friends about this video and all the videos, whether it's on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, or Facebook. Let them know. And by the way, in BitChute, everybody. It seems like a lot of people have stolen my my stuff, but some people have given me credit, but other people have not. And so thank you for the people who give me credit. For those of you who don't, that's kind of stealing, but that's okay. It's not on me. It doesn't even bother me anymore, because I have dealt with the times in me where I have not been as honest as I could have been. And I need to forgive it. We're all human. And we all get to carry these things and work with it So going back, just make sure you go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Like I said, there's a pop-up, and click on the link and learn about it. We've had lots of classes with Dr. Bradley Nelson. And so I want to encourage you to see if this is something that'll fit for you. Okay. And if you can handle it, if you can do it. As a matter of fact, we had one person that's a VIP let me know that they're not able to attend and they would like to sell their ticket. So there's one VIP ticket. So if you want it, be the first one to text that you want it, but it's not going to be given. You got to pay for it, because I don't have any control over that. So check out that. And you can't get it through the internet because the VIP is sold out. But you can text me at 407-373-5959 or email me and let me know that you would like that VIP ticket. And if you buy that VIP ticket, I can refund the person their entire amount of money. And that's what I would like to do. But if nobody claims it, then I'm so sorry for the circumstances, but I know that things will always work out. That VIP ticket is for one of you. I know it. Okay. So with that in mind, check out my sponsors. And especially, when you check out my sponsors, I want to highlight Dr. Jennifer Grameth, and I want to highlight the pharmacy in Merritt Island. So if you guys are in the area and you need a prescription, a topical prescription, I love the fact that Ross Clark, he's a pharmacist there, and he is getting ready to do as much topical medication as opposed to putting it orally in your mouth and affecting your GI. Topically, it'll just give you a rash if it's a bad thing for you, but it absorbs into your skin, like all our beauty products and all the stuff that you will find in my Shop Now bag with Keep Me Safe Organics, and all the other things in the Shop Now bag to be healthy. And also you can become a subscriber, not a subscriber, an enrolled student in the classroom. You can become a subscriber too, but you can become an enrolled student in the classroom and donate. If you're looking for a place to tithe, if you're looking for a place to help out, the classroom is mostly volunteer or donations. So I would appreciate anything that you can do, whether it's $1 or $1,000. We appreciate every penny so that we can grow. So I want to thank all of you that have enrolled in the classroom and have helped this classroom stay afloat. So thank you for that. So that the 29th of January. Oh, and by the way, when you go to the Shop Now back, let's remember we need to heal spiritually and learn about God's truth. And we have, whether it's the online version of Dr. Lorraine Day's New Truth Series, Book of Revelation, or the 100 Lessons from the Exodus, you can get it online or in DVD. Either way, it is an amazing way to learn about God's truth so that you know the promises. And then you say, oh, wait, this is biblical. This is God. This is from God, as opposed to, oh, it's New Age or whatever, all the terminology that we use to dismiss. I'm not saying some things aren't New Age, but I am saying that those are terminologies like conspiracy theory that we use to not look at the plank in your eye and look at the speck in your neighbor or your friend or your brother or your sister or your child or your parent. Did I get everybody? Your dog? Anyway. Oh, and by the way, you can do this with your animals too. So if you are a practitioner like Dr. Brian Ardis, who used this with every single patient that he laid hands on, after he learned to do it himself, then please, this is a modality where whether you're allopathic or holistic, alternative, do whatever it takes to learn these new truths about tapping into the truth in your body. That's what the emotion code is all about. And I hope that you will consider joining us. The next workshop, because again, spirit, mind, and body, the next workshop is this: Dr. Thomas Levy, Roadmap to Health. That is also right around the corner on February 6th. That's a Sunday, and it is a virtual. So if you're saying, well, I can't afford to do this, and I can't afford to do that, and I can't afford, if you're saying you can't afford to fill in the blank, whatever that is, now you have an opportunity to learn about your health. So if you have pain, which by the way, we have products in the classroom in the Shop Now bag that will help you release pain. They will be at the emotion code workshop. The first alternative care will be there. And if you want to be symptom free, or if you want to improve the quality of your life or your health, then we can focus on the body. See, people try to fix the body and not fix the spirit and the mind. If that's true, if that is you, Dr. Lee Cowden, who I talked about him all the time, I need to get him back in the classroom. Dr. Lee Cowden said, it's very expensive to fix the body. You can cut things out and you can burn things up and you can, mask it and numb it. You could do all that stuff. But unless you try to heal your mind and your spirit, your body will be very expensive to heal. Once you heal your mind and your spirit, the body will heal naturally. So what are some of those natural compounds, natural things that you can do that you may not have known? Like Dr. Levy, Thomas Levy, he's an MDJD, and he will help us focus on certain things. Now, he's talked about in 1 hour, he's talked about at multiple times, vitamin C, hydrogen peroxide, protocols, and he's now going to talk about protocols for when he got COVID. And when I got it too, he shared some of the things that I needed to do, started to doing it. And, I'm feeling better, not 100% yet. I'm going to be honest with you. I still have probably 40% of my taste. I know that'll come back 100%, but it is something that is happening with me right now. I don't know if it's psychological. I don't know if it's, something like you hear that this is something, or if it's physiological. I have no idea. But all I can do is do everything I can to build my immune system and be as strong, especially knowing that I have these back-to-back workshops, the I Am the Solution workshop, the Emotion Code workshop, and the Roadmap to Health workshop. So perhaps maybe that, the stress my body is under, is keeping my body from 100% healing. And when I say stress, deadlines and good stress, bad stress, it's all stress. And so what I work on is making sure that stress leaves my body. How do I do it? I start looking at myself. I'm a self-cleaning oven. And when you go through the I Am the Solution workshop, you too can be a self-cleaning oven as well. And so I want to encourage you to learn about, well, instead of doing all this medication, is there something that could that medication be causing the problem? Is there anything I could use or anything I could do to help naturally use my body, use whatever I have naturally to help improve my health? And I've got to be very, very careful, because if I say anything can be healed, then I'm in violation. So use your imagination. Use your imagination. So I want to reiterate, hold on. I can invite, but it's up to you to decide if you want to join us, to come to the party. I can invite you to a party, and if somebody doesn't show up, you don't go, I can't believe you didn't come to my party, blah, 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 blah. You don't do that. You invite somebody. Don't be attached to the outcome. If they come, great. If they don't, they don't. So those are things that we do to ourselves that we start telling a story in our head. Well, I can't believe they're not coming to my party. I can't believe it. They're probably so, this, and that. And you start telling yourself a story, but that's when you stop. As I said, you stop and you say, okay, that's a mirror. That's a mirror. What is in me that I need to forgive? When have I just not gone to a party because I didn't want to go to a party, or I was sick to go to the party, or whatever, and I still hold some guilt about it or shame about it? When your children are seeing in you something that you're not, you're not, but they're seeing it, that's their stuff. And then they're presenting themselves and you're going, gosh, where is it in me where I judged my parents? Or perhaps maybe I was hard on my children, or perhaps maybe I'm trying to make up for whatever time. I'm just trying to give you examples. Gosh, I did the best that I could with what I had. That person I am today would never do that. I am so sorry. I need to forgive myself. And they, children, family, friends, neighbors, strangers, they need to do that on themselves. Because why? You can't change them. You can change yourself. So much easier, isn't it? How frustrating is it to try to control the world? What would your life be today if you gave up control? That you gave up trying to look good to everybody and be a people pleaser and all that. What would it be like if you got out of your comfort zone? Or what would it be like to stop trying to be right? And let me tell you, all of that is the ego. All of that is the ego. But once you go into your essence, that's when you can say, that's my mirror. What is it about that mirror that I need to look at? In me, forgive, accept, embrace, talk to my spirit and say, I did the best that I could. I feel ashamed that I did that, but I can't continue this shame. I need to forgive myself because I haven't done it again. I haven't done it again. I am going to forgive myself. I forgive myself. I love myself. Whatever it is that you need to say, but embrace that you in you, that you in you. This is between you and God, because God is in you. And so that's a conversation. If you feel uncomfortable and say, I don't want to talk to myself. We talk to ourselves all the time. Who does she think she is? That's talking to yourself. Seriously. Being in control, trying to be right, being comfortable, and looking good, the people pleaser, is the tool of the devil. I'm not talking about having pride and having a sense of self-esteem. When I talk about the ego, I'm talking about the shadow side of you that you don't want to look at. Or you can look at your essence and start diving in to who you are. And I don't know when I'm going to do the next I Am the Solution workshop. We dive into this in a safe place and in a confidential environment. There's so many ways that you can say, I'm done with this. I'm stressed or sick. I have made myself sick because I refuse to look at myself. What's it going to take? Because if you get cancer and it's burnt out and you don't change your ways, it's going to come back. Because the lifestyle needs to change. And I'm going to share another story. So this is something also that I just became reconnected with. Because I visited my father at the hospital and to be with him this last week. But I'm going to tell the story of my mom, because this revelation came to me many, many years ago. When I was younger, and my mom was younger too, she had such high blood pressure that they put her in the hospital, and they prepared her for whatever it was that she needed, just in case she had a heart attack or whatever. So they put an IV tube in her arm, and then they didn't attach anything to it, but it was open. It's called an open vein. That's what I remember back then. It was so vivid. I see things and immediately it's like, oh my gosh, what a metaphor for life. And I remember sharing that. I can't remember how long ago it was. I just remember my mom, maybe I had already started the class, maybe the show at the time, the radio show, or maybe I was already a life coach. I don't know when it was. I just remember seeing my mom, and the nurse had said that was an open vein. That's what I remember. I may be remembering it incorrectly, but hey, it's my story. Anyway, so just recently, as in like last Saturday, I went to visit my father in the hospital, and they were giving him intravenous antibiotic. Not my choice, not my best option, but that's what they were doing in the hospital. Again, I can't control the situation. Sometimes you just got to let things be and be as loving and comfortable, keep your family as comfortable as possible. So I saw my dad, because I thought that he was getting this, but he wasn't. The dose had already stopped. And when I kissed my dad, I noticed, because the pump was beeping. So I thought, well, maybe something was with my dad, but the pump was just beeping because it was just beeping. So when I checked my dad's arm, he had an open vein. And that memory of seeing my mom's open vein, and that memory of what the classroom is about being open to change. You can resist change, but it's going to make you sick. Or you can be open. And once you become open, and this is my favorite, one of my favorite quotes that I heard from Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer. However, he took it from Max Planck, because I researched it, because he used to always say, I wonder, I don't remember who I heard this from, right? But when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What are you going to do with that? So that open vein was a reminder. I've got to be open. I get to be open. I get to look at those things I don't want to look at myself, whether it's my health, my body, and I need to change the way I eat, sleep, drink, whatever it is, because it's causing now discomfort in my body, inflammation, dis-ease. And I need to figure out, what can I do to reverse it and achieve optimal health? February 6th, virtual workshop with Dr. Thomas Levy. Why am I anxious? Why am I angry? Why am I sabotaging myself? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? It could be limiting beliefs, but those limiting beliefs, which we work on in the I Am the Solution workshop. And if you want to attend the next, because the space is very limited, I cannot do too many people in those workshops. But if you're interested in attending the I Am the Solution workshop, the New Truth Series, I Am the Solution workshop, send me an email and I'll let you know when the next one is. I have not, it's probably 2 to 3 months down the road. I have no idea. But for now, I've got to get past these workshops that I'm doing, and then I'll think about when I'm going to do the next, because I'm already being asked. But if you're interested in attending that workshop so that you can immerse yourself, spirit, mind, and body, and look at you, not what your circumstances are, is how did those circumstances get created? You get to look at it how you created it, not how anybody else is responsible for it. You get to look at it When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and you start, instead of resisting, you start working with it and creating win-win and realizing, oh my goodness, all the things I can do. I'm focusing on what I can't do. Well, remember, the brain is only going to focus what you can't, what you're focusing on. So if you're focusing on what you can't do, you'll get more of what you can't do. Work with it. Work with your body, your mind, your spirit. And it is amazing how many things will work for your advantage and your purpose. So that's the body, and then the spirit mind. That's the emotion code with Dr. Bradley Nelson, and that is live in Cocoa Beach, Florida. I am so excited. I know Brooke and Robert are excited as well, and their team and the team of volunteers, everybody, and the vendors that are going to be coming to kind of like I said, you know, at the beginning, it's like, what am I looking? I'm looking in the mirror, and now I have to look. That's the closing, the closing of the saying, you see in others who you are. Now what? So that's what I'm talking about. So the spirit and body with Dr. Bradley Nelson is tapping into that subconscious, those filters in your mind that go through that you filter everything. And that is your reality. Your perception is your reality. But you can't change people to see your reality. All you can do is see where you have behaved that way, become aware, and forgive yourself. So to be able to tap into your subconscious mind in a different way, with all the drama, without all the trauma, to be able to tap in, yes or no, this is right, this is no emotion to it, and be able to release it, and be able to tap into, you know, like, can I use this for what foods are going to help me? What people will lift me up? Which people are draining me? And you can tap into the subconscious body that is willing to tell you what's trapped. And that way you can release it and heal or improve, because, you know, use your imagination, what the things can happen when you realize, wow, that wasn't my burden to carry. That was my ancestry. That's the Emotion Code Workshop, live January 29th in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We have, like I said earlier, I don't know if we still have it by now, but I received a plea, and they cannot come. They bought a VIP ticket, and they would like for someone to buy it off of them. And if that's the case, I would love to help and assist in that. At this point, we cannot give refunds, but I'm certainly going to try to help her sell her ticket to someone else so that they can come instead, because everything has a purpose. Maybe she was holding on to this VIP ticket for you. So I hope that today's class was uplifting, that today's class helped you see that we are our greatest advocate because God is in us. And when God is for us, no one can be against us. But if you're not for you, everybody is against you, right? So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So what I quoted yesterday when I was in coaching session was, tell yourself the story in your head. That means if you become aware that you're telling a story in your head, it's time to stop, shift, which we talk about how to shift in the classroom and in the I Am the Solution workshop. And then you say, that's my mirror. What is about my mirror that I have not looked at, that I need to forgive, that I need to dive deeper? You have opportunities in the classroom. You have opportunities to even do a liver cleanse with Dr. Jennifer Grameth. We have it online. just because that's where the anger sits. Liver, gallbladder, they're connected. Cleanse it out. Allow that to leave your body. And then work on it. Work on all those things that you deserve to release. You just deserve it. You don't need this. You deserve it. And as I said about the I Am the Solution workshop, this isn't for failures. This is for people who are leaders, who want to tap into those leadership skills, to improve them, to tweak them, to, so if you think yourself as a failure, then think again. You're probably greater than you think you are. So if you want to learn how to take those failures and let them become your crowning moments of learning opportunities, wow. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So the invitation is set out to you. And we all want to be healthy. We all want to be wealthy, wise, and loved. But it's got to start with you. We cannot rely on anyone else to change our world. But I promise you that when you change yourself, your world will change. And please remember, I'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Mwah.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.